blog layout where you have the blog content, and then you typically have two columns, possibly some ads, a calendar, an archive, etc. on the blog. Notice that the markup has not changed. Obviously, the IVs of the panes have changed because that's a requirement for .NET Nuke, but the only thing I changed was the class name. I went from 3-column portal to 3-column blog, and the layout changed to move the bars to the side. A 2-column content left. Exact same markup, no change, and only thing I had to do was change the class. So this support that's now built in allows designers to be free from having to research how to create multi-column layouts in .NET Nuke. And just by incorporating this style sheet, they can go about creating very flexible columnar layouts that are cross-browser. Now, the way this style sheet is designed is we do not use pixel values because pixel values are not supported for scaling in the IE Windows browser. So if the user, if you specify font sizes with pixels, it's a big no-no, so don't ever do that. Use ems or percentages so that it will be relative to the user's selection in the view text menu. The layouts we provide are 3 basic layouts. There are 14 ems, which is equivalent approximately of 182 pixels, 16 ems, and 18 ems. And these widths refer to the widths of the columns. So back here, the column on the left, so the M there refers to that width. The larger column will scale according to the width of whatever the parent content is. So how do you decide? How do you use that? Well, you just put a wrapper class. Up there you see div class equals M16. Well, that basically says that take this columnar layout and make the columns on the left-hand, right-hand side 208 pixels or 16 ems. If you want to change that to 18 ems, you just change that to M18. You're free to create more, but we figured that these 3 values are pretty standard for what the site columns are. So using this approach, now you have the ability to essentially create any kinds of columns, and not have to worry about whether your markup will work in browser X or browser Y. Finally, the topic of WYSIWYG design. The designers, when they are creating their skins today, will frequently upload the skin into .NET Nuke, run it through the parser, and test it out. And then they'll probably end up editing just the ASCX file directly until it's time to send it back into production, where they'll then move their changes back into an HTML file, package it, etc. What we like to do with the WYSIWYG design support is make it really easy for designers to simulate the portal environment without actually going to .NET Nuke. So the way you do it is by adding one line in your skin's head element, and that's the line that is the script. We will host the script on .NETnuke.com, but you're free to download it to your machine and reference it locally. So this script, skindesign.js, that script will essentially allow your skin to have simulated module content dropped into the panes so that you can experience rather, what your skin will look like in .NET Nuke when it's uploaded to the portal. So, any questions? Yes, sir?
On the 3-column layout, I have a div-based layout. First of all, that's a great feature. That is part of the startup development to be sure to get that right across the browser.
And you still have your hair, see?
Yes. But does it also allow for the column to remain, can you set the height of each column independently? Or?
Yes, you can, but you wouldn't, because the columns are designed to scale according to the content within them, and the backgrounds, the background colors or background you set will all be level. So that is one of the biggest challenges in CSS-based columnar designs, is if you have 3 columns and column 1 has, only 100 pixels of content, and column B has 500 pixels, and column C has 300 pixels, you don't want background images that are staggered like that. So this takes care of that. You can set the background, and all the columns will always be the exact same same height, which will be the maximum height of whatever the content is. So you don't really need to set the height, but you can if you want to. So, yes, sir.
Just when you were showing those 3 columns in the dips, you didn't have unnamed content pane. Did it change?
I did. When you have
Content pane and left content pane on the 2 different ones?
yeah, when you have panes in .NET, you're only required to have one content pane. If you have additional layouts that you want on the same page, then as long as you fulfill the one content pane requirement, it doesn't matter what you call the others.
So that was an additional set.
Yeah, I just grabbed them from my example and dropped them in there, yeah. I saw another hand here somewhere? No? All right, so I'm going to attempt to kind of demo some of this. Virtual PC tends to be finicky with me and does not scale properly. Let's see if it works this time. It does not, so that's fine. We'll have a little bit of scrollitis here. So here's a simple standard .NET portal. I'm going to log in here real quick. I have about 7 minutes, so I'm going to try and move as quickly as possible. All right, so the skin I'm looking at here incorporates just about everything I talked about there so far in the presentation. I'm going to scroll down to, well, first of all, here you see the highlighted code. I'll move that to the top there. But you can see in this section I'm using the rounded corners code, so you can see the north, northwest, northeast, etc. And see that manifested itself as the primary rounded corners on the page. So it scrolls all the way down, and you've got rounded corners all the way around. Pardon those multiple scroll bars, but it's challenging. All right, so here I have commented out the header rotator. It's the exact same code I had in the demo. So let's uncomment it and see what it does. Now, I'm not a designer, so it's not going to be pretty, but it'll get the point across. So I have designated this image to appear in the header here and animate itself. So let's see if it works. I still haven't used up my quota of 3 screw-ups, so let's see. There we go, we got an image. And you should see that, again, I said I'm not a designer, but you should see some animation there. It's set to like 3,000 millisecond. But imagine that being some stock photography or you know, something of that nature that is visible on the page. So that's one widget. Now let's look at this particular widget here. This is the visibility widget. And let me uncomment that. I'll show you what that will do. So refresh the page, and there we go. So we have a little toolbar icon here that showed up, and what I've designated is that this toolbar icon will cause another area of the page to display and hide. So what I've done is use the style sheet widget here to allow 3 different widths of this skin, and I think there's like 50 color palettes for the skin. So the style sheet widget, let me go back to the code and kind of show you that. So this here is the visibility widget, and basically what I told it is that when the section is expanded, use this particular CSS class, and when it's collapsed, use this one. And all these do is really put the little picture of the icon that appears in the toolbar. And I tell it that this particular element, layout-toolbox, is the one you want to collapse and hide. Now the actual widgets are in that section called layout toolbox, which you see here. So here, you saw that there were 2 groups of icons. There's these, and then there's the color